Yeah! But that's alright.
Oh my god.
Yo guys, what is up? Max from a Borderlands 3 video, and today we're playing around with the raid boss mod. We cranked up the health of Rampager to 690 billion health, and one tapped him or one balled him with Amara through a strategy that I've never used before. Now, I recently put out a perfectly balanced Amara build, and I tried that build against this, and that build has a big flaw in it, in that if you can't hit the crit versus an enemy like Rampager, there's not really much you can do. And this build, that was probably only hitting for like 60 to 100 billion, which is by far, I mean, like, that's enough damage. That's plenty of damage. But to be absurd, we went even higher. Now, the way you do this kill, this is not a build video. This is not something that you'd be running into like the takedowns with. This is a super specific, as much damage as you can, and it is super unrealistic to ever recreate, because there's so many opening our menus and swapping. If you guys ever watched old Borderlands 2 raid boss kills, the amount of gear that we swap in and out in order just to get this amount of damage is ridiculous. I'm gonna show you guys the clip of me doing it, and then I'll break it down. Damage still doing 100 billion. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna. This is where we were successful, of getting him to come over here. If I can get him to come over here, I think we have a shot at this. And just like chill in this corner with him. I hope he doesn't run over all the way over there. Okay, let's just go. Let's go. He's coming.
Rolling another, I'm stuck in my seat for the whole control of my speech. Yeah, I've been trying to get off this couch for a minute and a whole week. No kidding, I'm skinny, I cannot eat. Got a million that depend on me. Yeah, every friend in my family. I'm a girl, everything I meet myself. I'm too on till I'm too off. Come down, make new thoughts. Like jumping off of that rooftop. Oh my devil, when I do enough to make moves based on my mood drops. Like who's lost?
Is he right next to me? I think he might be right next to me.
Yeah! Oh my god!
Alright guys, so maybe you missed exactly what was going on there. Don't worry, we'll break it down now. Now, the full set of steps to do this is extremely long and really complicated, and honestly not super realistic to be able to do in a super reasonable amount of time. This is all the steps you need to do in order to hit a theoretical trillion damage on Amara, and I will have that, and we'll talk about that at the very end of the video. But I want to go over the overview of why we're doing what we're doing, and then we'll get into the more technical stuff. The biggest thing that we're doing here that's new is we're doing a triple class mod swap on Amara, with each class mod helping different stages of our phase flares ball damage. And we've got a ton of gear that we're going to be swapping in and out of, but the first thing that we're going to be using is the Phase Zerker. The Phase Zerker's use in this setup is to get stacks of do harm. Now, we're scaling our balls damage off of melee damage, splash damage, action skill damage, elemental damage. There's so many ways to scale it, but the number one thing that is going to increase the damage of your ball damage is do harm stacks. Those action skill do harm stacks are super important, and everything that you need to do it in a quick time frame so that you can maintain those do harm stacks. Now, I have 99 stacks of do harm. My Phase Zerker has served its purpose in this kill, and I would be doing this down there if we were doing this on Rampager right now, but I don't want to get killed by Rampager. So 99 stacks of do harm. Then I could rock my sellout on myself to break my Brawler's Ward. This would give me my Brawler's Ward damage, and then I can go to my Phase Flare. I'm not doing every step here just because I want to give you guys the general consensus, but now I could cast Phase Flare, and I'm casting Phase Flare with Orb out. I want to cast it with Phase Zerker active. Now that it's activated, you have two options. You can either use a Muse class mod or a Rope-a-Dope Breaker, or a Breaker class mod. It doesn't matter which one you pick, as long as you pick the one that gives you the highest melee damage for you. For most of you, that's going to be the Breaker class mod with 2 into Find Your Center with that 200% melee damage. If you got a Muse class mod with +3 into Illuminated Fist before they nerfed this out and before they patched this out, that's going to be a better option, but 90% of you won't have that, so use the Rope-a-Dope Breaker. Now, with a Breaker, we've got a ton of melee damage. Mine specifically had a crap ton of melee damage, and now I'm going to swap my sellout in my inventory. And a lot of this swapping is done in your inventory because you don't need to take the time to swap in the game. If you just swap in the inventory, it'll immediately appear in your hand. That way you don't need to do any inventory or like take time out of this, because time is precious, because do harm stacks are taking away. Just swap away. So now I've got my melee damage. Now I can punch this once, punch this twice, bring it back. Now the ball's coming to me. Because I'm using an elemental projector static charge, the static charge is going to reduce the amount of hits I can do from 5 to 3. So I just did my 2 punches. I'm about to be on my 3rd punch. On your 3rd punch, we're swapping to our last class mod, which is going to be a +5 dragon class mod. And once again, this gear is super unrealistic for anyone to just have lying around. All of this gear was created for the purpose of testing how to get to the most amount of damage on Amara, and these are all perfect absolute god rolls for every situation. So just letting you guys know, I'm not trying to like hide that. But this is a +5 dragon class mod with the most stacks of do harm. We should still have a ton of stacks of do harm, and this is going to give us the most action skill damage per stack, and that leads us into our last shot. Now, there's things that I didn't include in this, and right now, holding this dragon, you would either want the enemy to fall onto your ball to bring the ball to your enemy while holding the dragon, or punch it at them while holding the Psycho Stabber. The things that I didn't mention that are important that you can tie in, if you can squeeze them in, they're great, is throwing your executes before to debuff the enemy. Before you go into any of this, if you throw 5 executes, you can get a huge debuff on them. The other thing, because we're not using a lot of, the other thing that you can use is a face puncher with melee attacks. Have a 20% to apply terror to yourself with an It's Pissed to give you V1 terror increased damage. This is a 35% damage buff. That is going to be really nice if you have time to throw in a face puncher shot. And the last thing is because we're using Avatar, and once again, this is really tricky. It's really tough to do all this stuff very quickly, is before you do any of this, phase slam and then swap to phase flare. And we're about to pull up that instruction sheet. But yeah, now that I have my dragon equipped and I've done all of this prep, I still have 73 stacks of do harm. So like I lost a ton of damage there just by like not doing this as fast as possible. And that's why this is so difficult to do all these steps. But if you can do them fast enough, now you've got a 1,690,000,000,000 damage ball floating around that is ready to absolutely instant tap anything. Now, I don't predict this raid boss in this game is going to have 690 billion health, because that's ridiculous. Graveward has 1.2 billion or 1.4 billion health in this game, and I don't think the raid boss would be equivalent to like 600 Gravewards. So don't be worried if you're not able to do this yet, because it is frankly overkill. But if you're interested in absolutely doing the most amount of damage on Amara, this is the way. Alright guys, that is going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you are interested in the step-by-step breakdown of everything you need to do, plus trying the save file for yourself and trying to do it against the 690 billion Rampager, I will put a link in the description to the Discord where I will have the save files and everything you guys need to know, so make sure to join that Discord. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys learned something new, and I will catch you guys in the next one. I'll leave you with a little fail clip at the end, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace! Oh, I freaking forgot to put on Muse. Oh well, let's just see. I'm just kidding. Yeah, yellow. Just come here. Come here. Please, 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 please. Why is he so far away?